So we're going to begin our formal program now. And I have a few words that I'd like to say, and then I'm going to introduce some really special speakers that we have for you today. To start with a quote, "Memories of our lives, of our works, and our deeds will continue in others." That's by Rosa Parks. She alludes to the idea that our kindness and good deeds do not stop with us. Rather, they ripple out to others. Your loved ones have done just that. You're all here because of the generosity and kindness you have shown through your loved one's gift of organ, tissue, and eye donation. Thank you for being here today to honor and celebrate that gift. Today, I'd like to share a few thoughts about the transformative power of organ, tissue, and eye donation. Our organ, tissue, and eye donors offer a profound impact on the world around us, provide healing and hope, and leave a lasting legacy. Let me first start by sharing all the ways your loved ones' gifts have left an impact on the world around us. Over the last 2 years, more than 1,000 donors from Nebraska have changed many lives. More than 200 organ donors in Nebraska gave the gift of life to those in need of a transplant from 2023 and 2024. In addition to organ donors, tissue and cornea donors have left a lasting impact too. Nearly 1,000 Nebraska tissue donors have changed and healed lives through their generous gifts as well during the last 2 years. We are so grateful for these gifts that have provided life to so many others. It is my hope that our organization can play a small part in bringing hope to your family through your loved ones' gifts of donation. I would like to extend a quick thank you to our Live On Nebraska staff for the work they do to make donation possible as they walk with you through the donation process. Our work is not merely a job, but a way to transform lives, save those in need, and offer healing to all of you. Earlier this year, I asked a few of our employees what it meant to be with you during this time in your life, and here's what a few of them said. The first one, "I have the privilege of being Live On Nebraska's aftercare coordinator and help families go through their grief journey. Grief is the act of love we have to give to those we love. Where there is deep grief, there is great love." The second one, "The best part of my job is being able to provide families some positive outcomes and hope during their time of grief." And the last one, "Communicating with our donor families is both an honor and a privilege. It's not just a job, it's a meaningful opportunity to support individuals during one of the most difficult moments of their lives. I have the privilege of helping families through the process of honoring their loved ones and ensuring that their legacy lives on. Knowing that my role, in some small way, can bring comfort or support to them during such a challenging time is something I hold close to my heart. I truly hope that the care and attention I give to each family helps them through their journey." And so the work of our staff and what they do every day, your loved ones now leave a lasting legacy. One way to measure the legacy we leave behind is the number of hearts we have touched, according to author Patty Davis, the daughter of Ronald and Nancy Reagan. Your loved ones have left you with memories and stories to share with others. Not only have they touched your lives, but they have now changed the lives of many others through the gift of donation. Through the gift of life, we are so grateful that your loved ones have offered someone else hope, allowed others to live and heal fully, and offered the gift of kindness and compassion. Before I introduce 3 of our featured speakers today, I would like to thank each of you again for being here to celebrate and honor your loved ones. Our organ, tissue, and eye donors offer a profound impact on the world around us, provide healing and hope, and leave a lasting legacy. Organ, tissue, and cornea donation truly makes a profound difference in the world, one life, one memory, and one ripple at a time. And so now I would like to introduce Laurel. Laurel Rader is a teacher in Doniphan and a wife and mom to 4 active kids. Laurel received a heart valve transplant to repair a congenital heart defect. Please help me in welcoming Laurel.
I just want to take this in a little bit. Sorry, my emotions get stuck in my throat. I wish they'd come out my eyes instead. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Live on Nebraska, and to you, our honored guests, the families of our donors. My name's Laurel. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a teacher. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. And I absolutely love teenagers. Okay, teenagers are my passion. So this choir that was up here just filled my bucket. I absolutely love life, and I love this life that God has given me to be able to share with others, and that really is my mission in life. My husband Doug and I, we are high school sweethearts. We met our junior year in high school. We eventually married, and in August we're going to celebrate our 25th anniversary. Yes, we're very excited. We will also welcome a son-in-law, celebrate 2 college graduations, finally get out of junior high, and we're going to go on living the life that God's called us to live. A few months after our 20th anniversary, I received a donor valve. But the road to needing a tissue donation started long before that. You see, I was born with a heart defect that would progressively get worse without surgical intervention. When I was 8, I had my first surgery. They repaired my valve, and it allowed me to be active in sports, which is a major part of our lives. It allowed me to do all the things I wanted to do and have the energy to do so, instead of being the kid that had to sit on the couch because they just didn't have any energy. I played volleyball. I ran track, which is my absolute favorite sport still today. I was involved in band and choir and all kinds of leadership. In college, I took the path to becoming an athletic trainer, and so I was helping athletes recover from injuries and help to prevent injuries. I had a chance to work with my husband for a year. He was on the college coaching staff, and I was the athletic trainer, and that was a wonderful year because we could work side by side. And that was at Mid-American Nazarene University in Olathe, Kansas. It was a fun year. Fast forward to 2002. We had been married for a couple of years, or almost on year 2, and we wanted to start a family. But in order to have safe pregnancies, I had to have another surgery. That surgery was meant to buy us some time, and it did. It bought us almost 20 years. We knew that we were going to have a valve replacement at some time. I say we because my husband has walked this journey with me now for 25 years. We were able to have 4 safe pregnancies. We have 2 girls and 2 boys. They're all extremely active. There were some heart complications, so we knew that our time was gonna end at some point to where we needed to have more surgical intervention. We stayed busy. I started running some 5Ks, a couple of halves, attempted a try, and just enjoyed being physically active and pushing myself. However, in November of 2020, which was in the middle of COVID, an absolutely horrible time to have to be in the hospital for any reason, I was playing knockout with my class and got winded playing knockout, like winded to the point where I had to sit down. And within just a few weeks, I went from very healthy and active to pretty sick and not really wanting to leave the couch. It was at that point that we knew that it was time for valve replacement. Now, there's several options. One involves a mechanical valve, which can be very life-changing because of all the medications you have to be on for that, or on the blood thinner that you have to be on. And so we chose a donor valve. It was the option, it was our option so that I could have the most active life possible, that I could still do the things that I want to do, that I like to do. And it was at that point that we decided to go ahead and use a donor valve. Within weeks after surgery, I was back to my normal self, doing the fun things, being involved with teenagers. Did I say I absolutely love teenagers? Teenagers fill me, and I want to be able to pass that on and to pass life on to them. I want to be the encourager that when they've had a bad day, they come to me at school, and I have several kids that will come specifically to me. I want to be the one that is there cheering for them on the sidelines and knowing that they are getting better for themselves, not necessarily the number one athlete, but they themselves are improving. I want to be that person. I am a tissue valve heart recipient. This is a wonderful gift that has given me back my life. I love people. I'm able to pour into the lives of others and to encourage them. I love to build them up and help them know that they are desperately loved. Not only do I keep up with my family and with school, I coach track. I am our HOSA sponsor. My husband and I lead our chapter of FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We have teenagers at our house twice a month. My life is full of families and of teenagers. It is the best. I have been able to use my platform as a recipient with my students who are also interested in healthcare. And I've been able to describe to them what it feels like to be on my end. And I've been able to get them to think about what it would feel like to be on your end. And to understand how important it is and what an honor to be able to continue through someone else, even as you guys grieve. It is a privilege to feed into the lives of the next generation and to help them discover what God's made them to be. I don't want to be the one that just sits on the sidelines. I want to be the one that helps to support and build up. I could not do this if I didn't have the energy or if I was continually battling illness. The donor valve that I have received has given me the opportunity to live out the mission that God has created me to do. Thank you, donor families. My family is so thankful to you. We are grateful for the person that you grieve. We are thankful that we're able to carry on their legacy through me. I carry within my heart a constant reminder that life is a gift that needs to be shared to its fullest. I hear the beat of my donor's heart, literally. When I lay my head to rest at night, I don't hear my heartbeat because my heart did not sound like a normal heart. So every night when I lay my head on my pillow, I hear the heartbeat of the donor who was so generous to me and my family. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope and I pray that my life that I live will honor my donor and their family as well. Thank you.
Laurel, thank you so much for that truly remarkable story. Next, I would like to offer the podium to Laura Porter. Laura has several connections to donation. Both her father and mother-in-law have received cornea transplants, and she herself has received bone grafts. So welcome, Laura.
All right. You're probably wondering why they gave me a microphone. I'm kind of wondering that too. I'm not good at public speaking, so bear with me. Just keep eating and enjoying yourselves while I ramble at you. Because so many other amazing people have stories that are worth sharing. And my name is Laura Porter. And my story is not a harrowing tale of survival that you might have expected. It's so hard to go on after that wonderful speech. So often, we only think of life-saving donations, but the gift of organ donation and tissue donation goes much further than you might realize. How do I know this? I wouldn't be standing here in front of you without my donors. I'm a 2-time recipient of donor bone. So literally, I wouldn't be standing, especially up on a stage in front of everybody. So I've had degenerative disc disease since the age of 14. I had my first spinal surgery when I was 18, and by the time I was 20, I needed a spinal fusion. I needed bone grafts. I asked my doctor if I could take it from somewhere else in my body, and they told me no. The amount of bone that I needed was more than I could take from my own body. I needed a donor. Being only 20 years old, I had to quit college and get a full-time job and my own insurance. My dreams were shattered. I would have much rather been in college than trying to get health insurance. I had my spinal fusion, and by the time my 21st birthday came around, I was still using a walker. My friends did not want to take me bar hopping. I looked 81 and not 21. But bone grafts, they take a long time to heal. But they work better than anything else for someone as young as I was. I couldn't do anything else. I needed that bone graft. So fast forward, I kept working at my job while my bone graft was healing. I fell in love with my husband for lifting a bag of pennies at the bank that I worked at. My doctor told me not to lift until he could confirm the donor bone had fused to my spine. My then future husband teased me for needing help. After all, a bag of pennies really wasn't that heavy. But little did he know that his kindness meant so much more. He was protecting me and protecting the donor bone that was saving my spine. Fast forward again, we got married, bought a house, and began planning our life. I was pain-free, happy, and didn't have to use a walker anymore. I knew that my degenerative disc disease, I couldn't put off family planning. So after 4 years, we welcomed our daughter in 2011. The pregnancy was really hard on my spine. I ruptured another disc for simply sneezing. It was Mother's Day of all days. My daughter was not even 3 months old, and the doctor said I needed another surgery and would need another bone graft. I waited as long as I could, but the nerve damage was too severe. I was hoping to wait until my daughter was in kindergarten, but life often laughs at your plans. I was in agony in the early trenches of motherhood, a fate I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. I see a lot of mothers in here, and you know how hard it would be to be in pain and to have a crippling, just everything in motherhood was rough at that moment. So my daughter was 3 when I received my second set of donor bone to save and repair my spine. You never know the limits of the human body until you're chasing a toddler. My daughter was never a little duck that followed me around. No, I had to chase her every step of the way. She was always leading, and I was always running. But without my donors, I wouldn't be walking, let alone chasing after my child. So my first donor made it so that I could have and carry a baby. My second donor made it so I could be a mother. My daughter's healthy bones came from the calcium in mine and my donor. She carries part of them too. My donors helped me and the generation after. One second. Can you grab my purse, honey? I had 2 copies and my speeches got mixed. And I'm like, wait, this is way too far forward. See, she's helping. All right, let's see if I can figure this out where I was. So sorry, everybody. Unplanned. Let's see, where was I? My story doesn't end there. My mother-in-law is also a recipient. While my donor bone was fusing to mine, she stepped up when I needed her the most. My hour of need lasted 5 months. My mother-in-law is a double cornea transplant recipient. She had keratoconus and was losing her sight. Keratoconus cannot be fixed or corrected with glasses in its late stages. She needed 2 cornea transplant surgeries, one for each eye, in order to save her from blindness. Now, not everyone likes their mother-in-law. There's no shortage of jokes about them, but I won the lottery with her, and she's truly an angel on earth. Not only did she care for me and my daughter when I couldn't, she was also caring for her father who had dementia. Her plate was so full. I don't know how she did it, but I know she wouldn't have been able to without her cornea donors. With her ability to see, she was able to see all 3 of her granddaughters and get to watch them grow into beautiful, kind, and confident young women. But wait, just when you think that lightning couldn't strike twice, my late father had keratoconus too. By the time I was 6 years old, he was legally blind and couldn't tell the difference between me and my brothers, who were 6 and 9 years older than me. And my brothers took advantage of that and blamed everything on me. So my family spent thousands on hard contacts and glasses and had to special order them from Japan. His prescription was ever changing and only getting worse. It was hard on our family. When technology started to change and cornea transplants became more popular, it changed all of our lives. When my father could finally see our faces clearly again, my face didn't look like the little girl that I used to be. I know without the cornea and lens donations, my father wouldn't have been able to see me at my wedding and see the faces of his grandchildren. So while not every type of donation is thought as of life-saving, especially bone, eye, and tissue, it really does save lives. It saves them in ways you can't imagine. One of the greatest things we can do with our lives is to bring comfort to others. My quality of life completely hinged on the kindness of strangers. Other families chose to donate to make my life better. These weren't just strangers, they're members of my community just like you. We all drive over the same potholes, hope the Huskers win, and nervously tune into Bill Ramby to see how high his sleeves are during a tornado warning. We should never give up on the importance of our community. We're all in this together. I don't get to know who my donors were, and I can never personally thank their families. Donation allowed me to be a force of good in this world. I choose to thank them by dedicating my life to spreading kindness, advocating for animals, educating, volunteering, and most importantly, thanking and honoring other families who gave the ultimate gift to our community. I want to be a voice for other recipients and express my appreciation to you and your family. Your selflessness during such a difficult time has made so much difference in the lives of others and in our community. Your loved ones will live on because of your compassion. And so, on behalf of myself, my family, and all recipients, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. We are so grateful to hear all the ways donation has improved your life and those of your family. Our final speaker is Tyler Gassaway. And Tyler's little boy is sitting up here. His name's Graham. And Graham asked if I was the pilot that was going to introduce his dad. So I am the pilot, and I'm here to introduce your dad. So Tyler's a 2-time liver recipient who is ready to share all the ways organ donation has impacted his life and his family for the better. So with that, here to share his story is Tyler.
Hey everyone, thanks for letting me be here and sharing my story. So my story, it really begins at birth. I was the son of 2 young airmen, and I was born at Offutt Air Force Base down the road. When I was born, I had immediate complications that baffled the doctors back in the 80s. And so because of that, I was transferred to the Nebraska Medical Center for more testing and a close watch. Eventually, I got a diagnosis that I had a relatively rare kidney disease, and my parents were told to prepare for the worst, or at best, prepare for a really rocky road through infancy and adolescence. But it wasn't. I lived a very normal childhood, and I beat the odds. Outside the frequent checkups with medical specialists while I grew up, who actually became friends over time, things were normal. I played sports, I made friends, I had sleepovers. I grew up. I went to high school, I was involved. I even earned a scholarship to go to college. I graduated from college, I went back to school. I got a job, I met a girl, I got married, and things were going great. So great, in fact, that my condition became more forgotten over time. And as I kind of checked off life events, my annual blood draw that I had to do every year just kind of became another motion to go through. An inconvenience even, as I was kind of busy making moves and building a life. So things were going so well, in fact, that as newlyweds, my wife and I packed up and chased a dream of a bigger life outside of Omaha. And as young millennials who grew up in Nebraska, we were eager to try something new and chase an adventure in the Pacific Northwest. So we sold our house, we packed our bags and our dog at the time, and we landed in Oregon. We bought a house with a classic Portland bungalow, and we planned our future on our own terms. But then a detour. One day, after kind of being sick from what I thought was just a summer cold, I woke up in a fog. I was disoriented and unable to control my thoughts or my motor functions. I struggled to communicate, and I drifted in and out of consciousness. I would go to the hospital, where they would eventually admit me and tell me I had an episode of, this is a big word, hepatic encephalopathy. It's a big word, but a tall tale sign that I was entering end-stage liver failure. I had just turned 30. I was running quickly, and I was healthy. I was checking off life events, but I couldn't outrun the gift that I was given at birth. And so I spent the next 3 months going through the labyrinth of getting listed for a liver transplant. And after almost 100 days on the list, of working to get on the list, I should say, I was finally listed on August 14th of 2018 and began waiting for that call. And while that date was a celebration, the next 100 days after that were some of the most difficult of my life. I was sick. I was more sick than anything I could have ever imagined. My eyes and skin turned yellow. My once sharp mind became cloudy. And my cognitive function declined as my liver was progressively unable to filter out waste. I remember I would tell a story to friends or be talking, and then all of a sudden my mind would stop and I would be unable to finish the rest of the conversation. My body swelled. I lost muscle mass. I was always cold. Even in layers of clothing in the dead of summer, I would chase the sun through the shadows to just warm up. My skin became sandpaper. It itched all the time. But what I will always remember during that time was my sleepless nights of anxiety, filled with worry and dread about what was next, and my phone kind of always within reach. On Halloween that year, I landed back in the hospital, sick again, and faced the grim reality that if I kept waiting, I may not be able to endure the demanding surgery ahead of me. So it was then, at the encouragement of my wife and my family, I accepted an offer from my mother to be a living donor and donate a portion of her liver to me. Now, Oregon didn't do live donor liver transplants, so my mom and I did the surgery back here in Nebraska, and on the day after Thanksgiving, we were checking in for the surgery. The surgery went well, and after waking up, I immediately felt renewed, realizing how abnormal my previous state had been. 30 years living with a progressively worsening condition. I kind of finally felt what it was like to be healthy again. I turned 31 in the hospital during recovery, and I kind of celebrated a new birthday, a new meaning of life. So after discharge, things went well until they didn't. And all the symptoms and things that I experienced before returned. And it became clear that my body was rejecting the graft that I'd ultimately need a second liver transplant. So at the height of a global pandemic, my wife and I were sobered by the realization that our Pacific Northwest dream would have to be deferred. We sold our house and we drove back across the country. And when we landed in Omaha, we were greeted with more unexpected news. My wife was pregnant, and we were expecting our first child. So with this renewed energy and determination, I worked hard to get relisted and was placed back on the waiting list. And this time, I only waited 37 days for the call of my second life-saving transplant. I anxiously underwent that second transplant alone in the hospital that was absent, kind of the buzz of visiting friends and family, and kind of dead and silent with the weight of the pandemic. And while surgery went great and I returned home with a sense of joy and gratitude, I also carried the heaviness knowing that now my third shot at life came at the expense of another life ending. That second transplant was exactly 4 years ago this past Wednesday. And 3 months after that transplant, my son, Graham, who's very energetic around here, was born, and I could tell you he's very much looking forward to turning 4 himself. I'm also thankful to say that we've since welcomed our second son, Griffin, just last year, who is appropriately at home taking a nap. My illness consumed me for nearly 4 years. It was my world, but now I have a new world and a new purpose. And for me, being a transplant recipient has allowed me not only to become a father, but to be there for my son's birthdays, to hear them say simple things like Dada and Daddy. It's given me a blessing to raise them and experience the blessing of parenthood. It's allowed me to do something simple, but very much overlooked, just to be a healthy, present father. My journey, it was long and it was hard, but it was also a gift. It was a gift that was given to me at birth, but maybe not realized until now or most recently. It was the gift of learning patience and persistence, to be profoundly grateful for what life actually is and that it's not guaranteed. It's the gift to have pride and appreciate what my body has gone through, what it can do, and how strong it is because I carry the gift of another. It's gifted me a life more worth living and gifted my family someone to witness our milestones together. It's brought us back to Nebraska, the good life, some people say, to build our family and put down roots. And it's truly the gift of life. And as much as I've gone through and as much as I've fought for all the needles, the knives, and the concoctions that I endured, it wasn't just me. It was my wife who stayed by me, by my side at my darkest hour. It was my doctors and surgeons and nurses who gave me the roadmap and did their job when I was just next on their list. And I often joke that all I had to do was show up. They took care of it. It's also important to know that my story isn't just isolated. It's just one, and there's tens of thousands of stories just like mine, only possible because of one thing: a donor. And so I'm here to share my story, so let me just say thank you to the staff at Live On Nebraska who coordinated things that I never saw, to the medical teams here in Nebraska that saved my life twice, and also to everyone in this room who has experienced the other side of the painful but beautiful story of organ donation, including, of course, my donor family. And as painful as loss is, I hope you can let my story be somewhat of a testament to what organ donation can make possible. Thank you.
Thank you again, Tyler. And to the other two speakers as well for those amazing stories and for sharing how donor heroes impact the lives of those around us. I would now like to ask for you to please direct your attention to the screens for our annual tribute to the donor heroes from the past 2 years. I gotta tell you, I've been doing this for a number of years, and it's never easy to close this thing out after watching that. So thank you for sharing those photos with us. Thank you for sharing your loved ones with us and for submitting those photos to honor their legacy. We are truly grateful for everything that you do and sharing those heroes with us. So this officially concludes our program today. If you haven't already, please be sure to view the butterfly gallery and vote for your favorite. On the back of the agenda is also a QR code that will allow you to watch and share that tribute video again. I also want to thank our staff volunteers who have helped make today's event possible. It is an honor to serve you and your families in this way. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. Please have safe travels home, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you all.